inducted into the 2024 Hockey Hall of Fame. Can't congratulate him quick enough.
Legend.
The legend himself, NHL hockey legend, Jeremy Roenick, joins the show. Jeremy, I appreciate you, brother, joining us.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Pleasure man, we're good.
You guys.
Man, I can't thank you enough,
have you on here.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Jeremy, I got to dive right into it. The hockey game, we talk about basketball and the NBA and the NFL and football and all these things. We're football guys, ex-players and coaches. We got a lot of guys on our show every week or on every day that's Super Bowl champs, Hall of Famers as well, like yourself. Let me ask you something. Is there a smaller difference with the NHL from your era to now than there is in the NBA and the NFL, I guess is my question. Like, I've seen a huge drop-off in the NBA and a huge drop-off in the NFL. Not only with the rule changes, can't hit the quarterback no more. You can't kick off the football. We got to call you to make an onside kick. Hockey's pretty much been consistent, right? You're still getting your dick knocked in the dirt in the eye, and you still got to play every day with the smaller amount of pads and football wear. So I just wanted to ask you: is hockey pretty much still the same when you look at it?
I think it's very same in terms of its the history of it and the way that the guys look at playing it. I think the rules have changed minimal. I don't think the league has changed the rules to where it's going to get weaker or less exciting, or they've tried to change the rules to A, protect players, but B, to get more scoring and get more offense. But you see in hockey, the best hockey is played when the playoffs start. The best hockey is played when their salaries stop, their paychecks stop, and they start playing for the pride and for the Stanley Cup. And that says a lot about the National Hockey League and its players and the way that they feel and respect about the game and respect about the championship. It's about the crest on the front, not about the name on the back. I think the game has changed a lot in terms of mentality, because this generation is different. I think they're softer. I think they're more coddled. I think their feelings get hurt a little bit more, so they have to be coached different. I think the fighting is definitely decreased in the game, not because it's not legal anymore, because you can still fight in the game. It's just not part of this generation in terms of fighting for a position, fighting for a job. There's so much money that's being made by these kids. It's almost like the sense of urgency and the determination and really the craving for a job has gone. That fight for a job. I mean, back in the early 90s, I hate to go back and say, oh, in the olden days, right? That makes me feel old.
I'm the same way.
You had contracts that were $400,000, $300,000, $500,000, and if you didn't have that job, you can't live the rest of your life on a job with that kind of salary. And if you got hurt and you left because you were hurt and you had something that you could probably play through, you would play through it, because if somebody else came and took your spot and did better, they were going to get your spot. And now what are you going to do? So you would do anything to protect your job, anything to protect your spot. I really don't think that guys think that way anymore. Some people that I see, in my own opinion, they get hit and it's their opportunity to leave and not have to play and they have to keep that really high standard of production and play that their contract, those big contracts, I think are expected out of them. Oh, I can't play because I'm hurt. Oh, I got a pulled muscle. I can't play. So you can't expect me to score goals and expect me to score the points and win the games for you when I'm hurt. Because it's a different mentality.
I see the same thing with NBA and NFL. That's a great point. Before Smitty asks you something, let me ask you this: Do you think?
I will say this. You said something about. I think there are other sports, and I think NBA is extremely talented today. But it's just an offensive, like, look at me mentality right now. 3-point, 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 3-point. No defense. 140 points. I truly believe that NBA is more of a look at me and LeBron James is a perfect example. Look at me, not look at the team. Look at me. You'll never see an NHL guy say, I'm the best player in the game, or, I should be the MVP, or I should be this, but you see it more in different sports and I'm not just picking out NBA. I'm just saying a lot of different sports. You're never going to see that mentality or that comment coming out of an NHL player. You just won't see it.
Let me ask you this, to your point. Do you think because of the softening of this era, generation of kid, do you think there's some correlation with these two teams playing again and one of these teams being in the third Stanley Cup in a row in Florida? Is there you think there's some correlation with the
100%. I think what these two teams are showing that there is a pattern of mentality. There's a culture within a team, literally that shows you how you win. And you don't win in the playoffs playing the same way you play in the regular season. It's a different level. It's a different pace. It's a different physicality. It's a different sacrifice. Play through a lot of pain. You're playing every other day for 2 months, and you're playing at high pace. And you're going to have to learn to play through injury. And you have to play with bite. The Florida Panthers play with bite. Every single player plays the same way. They finish their checks. They're in people's faces. They're hard to play against. They're heavy on the puck. They are disciplined. They know the system, and there's no holes. Edmonton has shown that they are doing the same thing. They have two of the best players in the world that also have the biggest competitive levels of anybody in the world. So you take that, and they drag people into the fight. They're dragging Hyman into the fight. They're dragging Kane into the fight. They're dragging Corey Perry into the fight. Not that they have to, but when your best players are your hardest workers.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best leader in the world, but you better be the best. You better be a good follower, right?
No, yeah.
100%. You're dropping a lot of gems right now. And one question I want to ask you is, do you feel like, with everything you just said, do you feel like today's era of players love the money more than they love the actual game?
I just I wouldn't just say that. I mean, everybody loves money, right? Let's not beat around the bush. And hey, listen, that's the times we're in. I mean, it's in all over sports. I'm not mad because somebody's making money. That's great. If somebody wants to pay you the money, that's just what the times are at. And that's awesome. I just think that people lose perspective of the love of the game and actually playing for the game, right? The respect of the game, the history of the game, playing it the way that your teammates expect you to play it. So it's not so much that I think that they love the money more. I just think a lot of the kids today have forgotten the history of the game, forgotten, why you play it. You play for, you don't play for yourself. You play for your city. You play for your team. I mean, I've seen, people don't understand. It's one thing to go to the rink and go on and play, but until you see the faces of some of these fans that literally they look forward to watching you. Yeah. They cheer. They cheer to win a Stanley Cup. You're not just winning one for the boys in that locker room. You're winning it for a city,
right?
And if you don't respect that, and you don't respect how much money fans pay for tickets, they come and they buy jerseys and they support you. If you look at it as it's just you going and playing your game and making your money and going home, then you're missing out what sports is really all about. And it's a community. It really is. And I think you have to respect that and give people everything that you can get and literally live it. You can't just show up at the rink, put your shoes up, put your skates on, and think you just go out and win a game. Because
you made a point real quick. You made a point, and I want to ask you, because I go at this every fucking day with these kids. Do you think there's an investment issue or a lack of, I don't want to know my history in our sport? Like, I think NBA and NFL, I can ask kids right now in playing football, who is Eric Dickerson? They have no fucking idea.
Right.
They have no idea who the greats are at their own position. Like, I can ask a running back, hey, man, you remember Bo Jackson? Who?
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's an investment issue. Is that the same in hockey with these youngsters now?
Same thing. And listen, it's in our we have a very short time attention span. I think in our lifetime, we have so much at our fingertips between social media and being on and going watching videos and seeing funny things and looking at all this stuff. Where, and I'm not blanketing all of this generation, because there are some old school kids that have that mentality that they'll look up old school videos and look up stats from some of the greatest players in the game and watch how they played, and they'll learn from the way listening to them talk. But I think everything is so easy. Hard work is not as hard anymore because technology and things at our fingertips. We can't even close a car trunk by ourselves now. We got to press a button. All right.
Right.
Let's just go to like stupid things, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, things that become painful, very tiring, time consuming. It's almost like we don't have the patience for that, because everything is touch screen, finger, everything is fast.
Yes.
And people don't have the patience to put in that hard work and to feel actually what it feels like to not be out of breath because you're on a bike or you're running and you're training hard, because it hurts. And that's what separates the pros from the non-pros. And
he preaching right. Hey, you're a preacher right now. I was talking to somebody.
I just saw the cat at Walmart fucking pushing the carts in. Now it's a fucking machine that pushes the carts in.
You know what? There's guys who only put the cart in when the cart thing is right there.
Yeah, it's little stuff now.
Lazy fucks, man.
Even when I'm like texting, I call myself like forgetting how to almost spell certain words because of this spell check. Like I'll stop in the middle of spelling a word and wait for the spell check option to pop up to finish the word for me, just because I'm so used to just being assistant. I have to like catch myself.
But it becomes like unconscious.
Damn, you're right.
And Jeremy, to your point, like you just made earlier, like to the fan base, and I argue with Smitty every day about like the load management that the NBA has made so famous. Like you're shitting on these fans that come watch you with their kids, $1,500 tickets with 4 or 5 family members, and you play half the games, and I'm supposed to respect. Wonder why NBA viewership is at all-time low. Like I'm like, come on, man. There's actual some sort of organic repercussion you're going to face at the end of the day.
By the way, how hard is it? How hard is it for a player? And I think you're seeing something like this change in the PGA in golf because of what Justin Thomas is preaching right now and what DeChambeau is preaching right now. Listen, we want people to come watch us. Our sport relies on people to come watch us. When you're walking up the ropes, give some high fives. DeChambeau is running up the sidelines, high-fiving everybody, fist bumping everybody. I know you got to be focused. You got to be, you have to be in your zone. Guys coming off the NBA court, man, you see kids reaching out, trying to fist bump, and they walk right by. It's not hard to. And by the way, that little fist bump that you're going to give an 8-year-old, he's going to go to school and tell all of his friends, I got a fist bump from Steph Curry. Right. These become life-changing experiences for people because it's a story. It makes them feel respected. It makes them feel like, he noticed me. The little things that you can do that are nothing to us mean the world to other people, right? And that's a gift that professional athletes or celebrities, and I hate that word celebrity. I hate it. But they are influential. So be an influence. It's not hard.
You're preaching the choir. You're touching on a lot of things we talk about because I'm like, dude, these guys now, these fucking Twitter fans and Instagram, you say something they don't like, they'll send you a DM now and talk shit to you. Fuck you, Jeremy. You don't know shit. And back in our era, you were a hero to us, and we would do anything just to meet you. Nowadays, social media has made it so like convenient for you to talk shit and be a coward behind a fake picture. And now you're bashing our former heroes. Yeah. We don't have heroes no more. These kids now on social media, which we just had an hour-long debate about, are looking up to these guys in social media as a new hero. And I'm like, these guys are going to leave you like this. They don't care a fuck about you. They're not. They're nobody.
I feel bad for those people. It's like, okay, you can yell at me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about and say I'm an asshole and all that stuff. Okay, well, I'm not saying that to you. So sometimes just look in the mirror, man.
Hey, and then they get mad at you, Jeremy, when you bark back. And then I'm like, wait up, you fucking started this shit, not me. You don't even know me.
But to me.
Hey,
I think they get.
I'm going to report you, Jeremy. You're mean.
Yeah, I think they get even more mad when I say, yeah, maybe I am an asshole, but you know what? Hey, thanks for at least watching. You know, I appreciate you. They're like, no, I didn't piss you off. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. They're mad about that.
Yeah, I didn't get him.
Yeah, I didn't get him. Unfortunately, I feel bad because those people that do that, there's something missing within themselves. That
no doubt.
And you know, it's unfortunate.
Jeremy, we got our PK Subban on this show right here.
I love my PK. I love my
Darnell
PK.
Smith.
I love PK. He's great on air, by the way.
Smith works at Fox, and he, he's over here, and I know PK's at ESPN, and I've talked to PK a few times trying to get him on the show, but Smitty does our hockey breakdowns, man, and so he's got to be the one. He's going to introduce something to you real quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, about this Stanley Cup Final. I know everybody in the chat may not be up to par with everything that's going on, so kind of give them some information and dive into your opinion on it, Jeremy. The Edmonton Oilers, obviously they scored 3 goals in the first 8 minutes and 7 seconds and went on to eliminate the Dallas Stars with the 6-3 win in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. The other day here, the Oilers, like you said earlier, will be facing the Florida Panthers in the best of 7 Stanley Cup Final rematch from last season, where we know Florida won in what I think was 7 games last year and won 2-1 in Game 7. I want to ask you though, you are the legend. You're one of the greatest to ever do it. Who do you like in this series, and tell us why? You just broke down how both teams kind of they have that gritty, old school mentality. The stars of their team are also the hardest workers. With that being said, though, who has the edge in this series?
I think this is going to be a closer series than last year. And I say this, and last year was a great series. Florida went up 3-0, and then they almost choked it, and it got to a Game 7 with Edmonton coming back 3 games in a row. It's really hard to beat the same team back-to-back years. If you looked at what's happened over the last little while, Tampa Bay went to the finals against Chicago and lost. They went to the finals the next year, won. You had the Vegas Golden Knights went to the finals, lost, then went right back to the finals 2 years later, won. Florida, same thing. Finals, lost, then they won. Now they're back again. Edmonton, finals last year, lost. There's almost like you learn something by being there and losing that brings an extra motivation against somebody who's already won it. Now, I'm not going to say Florida is not as motivated as Edmonton, but I don't think they're going to be as hungry as Edmonton. I think Edmonton's going to have more of a push, more of a preparedness. Although Florida is the best built team for a Stanley Cup final, because like I said, they all play 4 lines like crazy. Where the difference is going to come in is the goaltending. Although Skinner was great against Dallas, Bobrovsky's a better goaltender. Defensively, Florida has better defense, but they have Ekholm back in Edmonton, which is huge. Edmonton just lost a big player in Hyman, which is going to hurt. This is a flip of a coin, to tell you the truth, because you have a Connor McDavid and a Draisaitl that are so much better than everybody else. And I even say that with 100-point players like Matthew Kachchuck and Barkov and 50-goal Reinhart in there. This is going to be an amazing series, but I wouldn't vote against Connor McDavid and Draisaitl finding a way to drag their team across the goal line. Skinner is going to be the key. If Skinner can play well and they can stay composed against a team that is going to be very physical against them, because Florida is going to be in their face. They got Marchand now, who's in the face, yapping. Kachuk is going to be yapping. Bennett's going to be yapping. Ekblad's going to be yapping. It's going to be a battle of attrition for Edmonton. But
hey, this is a battle for the 51st state. We got to keep it here.
Exactly. Yeah, Alberta. Alberta's is gonna secede from Canada, so that might be the 50th birthday, right? But it's a great question. I think it's the two best teams in the league right now, and you have the best players in the game, pretty much.
I love it. Let me ask you real quick, JB. Do any of these stars that are playing in the Stanley Cup Final remind you of yourself in any way?
Matthew Kachchuck, unfortunately. He makes a lot more money than me. Well, I think the engagement that he plays in, he is so in the game, and he gives everything in every shift. He's physical. He's a pain in the ass. He's a chirper. He can score goals. He's one of the smartest players. He's not the best skater in the world, so that's where we're different. I was a very good skater and fast, where Matthew Kachchuck is lumbering and slower, but his IQ is so high that he knows exactly where to go, where the puck is going before it gets to him, and he can score his points because of his positioning and how smart he is. He's 3-4 steps ahead of everybody else, and he'll fight. So I hit everything in sight. Matthew hits a lot. Matthew's a great playmaker. He's probably the most similar, and he chirps. And I chirp, and he's got a personality, and I had a personality. You did
have a personality, and you did chirp, and you did fight. You were.
I think Matthew, growing up in Phoenix with his dad sitting next to me, probably saw me chirping a little bit too much, and probably got a little bit of that from me and his dad.
Hey, Jerry, I got to ask you a question. So, due to your skating, I guess expertise, how good you were with your skates on the ice. Yeah. Did that help you in fighting? Because you were a former King, and I'm a King guy growing up, and King guy, and they were up 2-0 in Edmonton. Fuck me, I don't know, they lost that. But anyway,
it was one bad mistake by one really, really good player, Quentin Byfield, who I love Quentin Byfield. This kid is going to be a great player. I love watching him. But a young player will make a mistake, and he made a mistake at the end of Game 4 that literally changed the whole mentality of that series. You got to get the puck out when the goalie's pulled. You don't try to beat a defenseman one-on-one inside your own zone. Just get it, throw it off the boards, get it out. You have 38 seconds left. It could be the game, but I'm not going to blame it on them.
Kings to be in this final right now, huh?
Yeah, I'm shocked that they didn't beat Edmonton, to tell you the truth, because I thought they were rolling. They had all that going. Damn. But I do think being a good skater, being good on your blades, like you were asking, is imperative to being a good fighter. I
was going to ask you about because you were a former King, and you had a guy named Marty McSorley who had a legendary fight, and I was just going to ask you, did that skating help that? That's why.
Well, it helped me for a lot of different reasons. It helped me stay away from him for a little bit, that's for sure, because he couldn't catch me. But when he did catch me and we did fight, I was able to, stand on my ground, not get thrown around, because he's one of those guys that jerks you around and throws you, and because he's so strong. But being a good skater, I could really get my center of gravity in there and take a beating a little bit longer than I would have if I just went down to the ice.
What was your philosophy on fighting? Because back then fighting was more part of the game than it is now, obviously, to your point earlier. What was your philosophy? Were you going in to say, I'm going to fucking be the enforcer here, I'm going to dictate the tempo of this game? Or was it more of a...
Not as in the fighting aspect. I mean, I would fight because I would go around and I would hit hard, and I would hit to hurt. I didn't hit just to hit. Like, I literally wanted to inflict pain. That was a kind of a intimidation factor, tactic that I really enjoyed. But what along comes with that is also being responsible for your actions. And if I'm going to go around and I'm going to hit hard and I'm going to hurt people, people are going to want to fight me. So I'm not going to Kurt Turtle. I'll stand up. I'll fight my fights. You have to be accountable. And you know what? If somebody wanted to fight me, I fought Marty McSorley. I fought Bob Probert. I fought Craig Berube. I fought some of the toughest guys in the game because I was an idiot running around hitting a lot of people also. So if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. So I showed up. I didn't win a lot of fights, but I definitely showed up for all of them.
Before Smitty asks you the last couple questions, I got to ask you one thing. Who was your biggest challenge or most, I guess, who earned your respect during your career? Like, who was the best or the strongest, toughest, whatever it was? Just that guy was always an issue going into that on the ice at night. Was there a particular person that stood out?
There's a couple. there's no question Mark Messier was one of the toughest, most intimidating, because not only will he hurt you on the scoreboard, making good plays, passing, skating, but he was mean. Like, he'll hurt you. If you weren't watching and the referee turned his head and Mess saw that the referee wasn't looking, you're gonna get a slash right on the back of the hand or the back of the leg, and he's gonna inflict pain, and he's gonna laugh at you, and he's gonna score a goal. Peter Forsberg, who wouldn't fight you, but you could never push him out of a game. He's so strong and played the game the right way. And whenever you can't push somebody out of the game with intimidation, and they keep coming back at you over and over again, that becomes an impossible guy to play against. And then Chris Pronger was a prick. He was a prick. I mean, he was so good at his craft, but then he had a mean streak and an absolute mentality that he's never gonna beat you. Like, he's never gonna let you beat him. Like, he literally will absolutely crush you in one way or another. You're gonna win the game, but guess what? You're gonna feel a lot of pain after.
No doubt.
You're not gonna leave a winning game against Chris Pronger and feel good afterwards.
Let me ask you, last thing for me before Smitty ends it. I can't thank you enough for hopping on here with us on a Friday as we head into the NHL Stanley Cup. Let me ask you this real quick. Was Lindros one of the most skilled players ever, skill set wise? Was he ahead of his time still, even after Gretzky?
He was, for a big man like he was, extremely skilled, strong. He was like bull strong. He had great hands. He could shoot the puck. He was deceptively quick, and he was a competitor. He was one of the freak of natures.
How big was he really? 6'5"?
6'5".
Man.
6'5", 235. Just strong and competitive, right? But he played reckless, and it unfortunately it cost him major concussions. Obviously, with Scott Stevens, got him a couple times, playing the game, flying through the center ice with your head down. These are things that you can't do, that you couldn't do in back in the day.
You love with that era, Mario, Wayne, Hall.
Best.
1986 through 2002, without question, is the greatest hockey generation of all time. You had the greatest group of players. I mean, obviously you get your great players from the 60s and the 70s that are Hockey Hall of Famers and historians and Stanley Cup winners. But you look at the talent. I mean, you just go through Mario, Gretzky, Lemieux, Sakic, Forsberg, Eisman, Medano, Chelios, Leach, Messier, Coffey. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, you can keep going and going and going. Luc Robitaille. I mean, holy cow, Mike Gardner. This is all these players through that 16 years. It's mind-boggling how many.
Did you play with Brett Hull too?
I played just on the U.S. teams with Brett Hull. Played against Brett all the time. He's one of my greatest friends in the world. One of the best personalities and one of the most happy-go-lucky guys that just loved scoring goals, loved winning, loved having a good time, and didn't give a shit about anything. Just
he told me about you because I got to hang out.
Brett Hull.
I got to hang out with him at a buddy of ours. You might know him as well, but golfing buddy Pat Perez. So Brett came on down to it.
Patty Perez.
He just texted me and said, "Tell you what's up, man." So
I love Pat Perez. I just saw his mom and dad here about 2 weeks ago here in San Diego at a local restaurant. So they live near me. So I love the Perez.
Do you go to the Armed Forces deal that his dad throws every year? You ever go to?
He actually just asked me to come to it when I saw him a couple weeks ago. So hopefully
I'll be there. I'm there every year too. I'll see you there too. Definitely. But Smitty has one last thing for you.
Last question for me. So you shared a story. This is years ago. I saw it online, and I'm gonna draw a blank on the guy's name. But you talked about the physicality that you played with, and you shared a story where you knocked the player out, and then you had to play against that same team. I think like a couple of days later. And they wanted to get their payback on you. And I think it was the first time you got your jaw broken.
That's exactly right.
Because you kind of just shared that just with our fans, were kind of just what happened on that story. I think it's a great story.
Yeah, it was 1999. It was at the end of the season. We're playing Dallas. I'm playing for the Coyotes in Phoenix. And there's only like 2 games left in the season. It's both against Dallas. 3 games left. We had a back-to-back against Dallas, and Mike Modano, who I think is the best American hockey player of all time, in my personal opinion. One of the most beautiful players of all time. Not a physical player, though, by any means. I don't think Mike Modano had more than 20 hits in his career, but he didn't have to. He was so good. But he was my role model. He was my stepping stone, right? Every time I played, if I beat Mike Modano, then that makes me better than Mike Modano for that time. So he was always my leveraging stick. And every time I played against him, I wanted to beat him. Well, this one night at the end of the season, he was coming around the net. He made a pass, and I just literally knocked him out. And it didn't go over too well with his teammates. And literally the next day, we're playing in Dallas. And I wake up the next morning, on the front page is Paybacks of BTI, blank blank. And it's like, so I knew that the whole city was looking for my head. And I just didn't realize that they were really looking for my head, because 5 minutes into the game, I'm coming around the net, and Darian Hatcher comes and just a flying elbow. He's 6'4", 6'5", 245 too, and he throws a flying elbow, jumps off his feet, and my jaw just disintegrates, and I can feel it. I'm pulling part of my teeth out of my mouth at the bench, while the lady in the front row is passing out, seeing the blood fly. But I didn't want to get off the ice. I was so mad. We had a 5-minute power play, 5-on-3, and my trainer's like, JR, you got to get out of here. That jaw is just mangled. And I'm sitting there saying, nope, I'm not leaving. I got to score a goal on this power play. I wanted to score. I wanted to go out there, score a goal in the power play, so I could leave the rink, get my jaw wired. And I wanted to leave the stadium getting the last laugh by scoring a goal, and just go like this and just give everybody the finger. That's what I wanted to do. So I played for another 5 minutes with my jaw flopping all over the place and spitting blood. I didn't score, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to do that. But that was just the mentality. I just always wanted to get the last laugh, and Darian Hatcher got the last laugh on me that time. But I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's legendary.
That's an incredible story.
Yeah, you won't get that, Smitty, from your generation.
Well, there's a few cats, like he said, he thinks would do it, but a lot of them, won't do that. Super last thing, because somebody in the chat asked this: did you have any encounters with Michael Jordan? We know you guys are both in Chicago at the same time. Yeah,
Mike. There's never been a more competitive person than Michael Jordan. To me, in all of sports, this guy will beat you any way possible. And if you do happen to get him, I beat him in a couple golf rounds, he'll find a way to get his money back or beat you at something else to make sure that he has the upper hand. So I'm a biggest Michael Jordan fan ever. I don't think he likes me telling stories about, beating him for money and then him going out and scoring 56 points the same night, winning back. So, him beating me for like $12,000 playing gin, because he's a better gin player than he is a basketball player. It's just everything. So Michael is a freak of nature. And the fact that anybody can sit here and say that he's not the GOAT and the greatest of all time is totally beyond me.
Hey, he told Pat and I he'll smoke more cigars than us, and he'll bet $1 million on it. And I'm just like, fuck it. You can. I would love to bet if I had the money, I would bet him. But that's how competitive he is, Smitty.
Oh yeah, no.
He don't give a fuck. Whatever.
Will bet you in anything.
Anything. I'm not lying. Anything.
No, anything.
Like, it's crazy.
He'll find a way to win, because he is the ultimate competitor without question, and he's a great representation of sports. That's for sure.
No doubt.
Well, you are too, Jeremy, man. It's been an honor to have you on here. You're welcome back anytime, man. And
thank you.
Been one of my favorite interviews, man. So
I love it.
Jeremy,
I
appreciate
you guys.
Pat, say what's up. I'll see you in a few weeks at the golf tournament, hopefully with Pat.
That sounds great. You guys give great podcasts, man. You give great podcasts. I love it. You
appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot. Legendary. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Jeremy.
Thanks, guys.